This episode is made possible by purchasing resources through the Creation Science for Kids shop.
Welcome to the Creation Science
For Kids
show. Praise the Lord. I will give thanks to the Lord with my whole heart, in the company of the upright, in the congregation. Great are the works of the Lord, studied by all who delight in them. Full of splendor and majesty is his work, and his righteousness endures forever. He has caused his wondrous works to be remembered. The Lord is gracious and merciful. Psalm 111, 1-4. This is episode 7 of the podcast where we learn about Jesus, our Creator, and His amazing world. Hi, I'm Sherry Fields, your host, and I'm joined today by my co-hosts, Joseph.
Hi.
And Charity.
Hi.
Today we're going to talk about what God thinks about fire-breathing dragons. Today we're going to hear what God thinks about fire-breathing dragons, learn about some amazing summer camps, and find out about tigers. This is going to be a lot of fun, and I can't wait to get started. But first, I'd like to ask you for a favor. If you have an iTunes or Stitcher account, please take a minute to leave us a review. It helps more people find us, and it will be exciting to see what you like best. Thanks! Let's open our Bibles to one of my favorite passages, Job chapter 41. God has been telling Job about different animals to show how powerful and creative he is. In chapter 41, God talks about Leviathan, a creature that has amazingly strong scales, isn't afraid of anything, and lives in water. We'll start near the end at verse 31. He maketh the deep to boil like a pot. He maketh the sea like a pot of ointment. He maketh a path to shine after him. One would think the deep to be hoary. Okay, there's some interesting things there. What is the deep? We had that.
Water. It's very
sea.
deep water.
Yeah, the sea, the ocean, because it's very deep. Yeah, we had that when we were talking about day 2. Yes, Joseph?
What's hoary?
Hoary. Yes, I'm going to tell you. Hoary is what you would call people with the kind of hair like Grandpa has. Gray or white hair. And this is God talking. First, we'll start at the beginning and we'll get to hoary in a minute. He maketh the deep to boil like a pot. What does that tell you? If the ocean is boiling like a pot, it is hot. So Leviathan makes the water around him hot. He makes the sea like a pot of ointment. That I am not entirely sure whether it has bubbles in it. He maketh a path to shine after him. We do know there are creatures that glow, like fireflies can glow, that there are small creatures in the water that if a ship just sails over them, it makes a path glow behind them. But Leviathan seems to be making the water shine by himself. So he has some kind of glow. And then one would think the deep to be hoary means the deep turns kind of white or gray around him. What God is talking about, we don't know. But we do know he makes the water hot. Now, let's go back to verse 18 and see what could be going on with this water being hot. By his sneezings, a light doth shine, and his eyes are like the eyelids of the morning. So he sneezes, and what happens?
A light appears.
Shines, And what about his eyes? This is something I find really fascinating. His eyes are like the eyelids of the morning. What do you think that means? What would God be saying here?
His
eyes are
flashlight eyes.
Flashlight eyes, maybe? Yeah, or they glow. That it looks kind of something.
It looks like the sun.
The sun?
There's the
Or
sunset or the sun
sunrise, which makes me think that maybe different colors were shining out from his eyes. But anyway, they actually not just reflect like when you are in a car at night and you see a cat's eyes or a dog's eyes or deer, that they'll glow back. Leviathan, his eyes actually glow. Now, let's go on to verse 19. Out of his mouth go burning lamps, and sparks of fire leap out. Okay, not only does he sneeze and you see a light. But now we're getting to, what would we call this kind of an animal?
A dragon.
A dragon, a fire-breathing dragon. Let's go on. Out of his nostrils goeth smoke. You've seen that fire-breathing dragons. They always have the big old nostril holes with the smoke coming out, as out of a seething pot or cauldron. So if you've got a pot of water that's really boiling, do you have just a little bit of steam coming up?
No.
What's it look like?
A cloud
A
of it.
cloud, yes. So God is saying here that the amount of smoke or even steam possibly he could be talking about, because a boiling pot isn't actually smoking, it's steaming. There's a lot of stuff coming out of his nose. And verse 21, his breath kindleth coals, any flame goeth out of his mouth. So again we see there's no way to interpret this except that this is a fire-breathing dragon that lives in the water. Isn't that cool? We can't be completely sure what animal God is talking about here, but I've got an idea. Let's look at some creatures we know from the fossil record. This is a mosasaur. I've got a picture of this in the show notes at creationscience4kids.com/camps. And you can see this is quite a large creature. If you do a search for mosasaur, you'll see all kinds of terrifying pictures of this big animal that is extinct now. When you look at the skulls that we have of mosasaur, you can see, like on this one, it had pretty big nose holes up here on top of its head. So plenty of space for all that steam to come out. Who knows? God knows, but there don't seem to be any of those kinds of creatures left around. And personally, I'm rather glad we aren't running into such big, scary creatures that are hard to kill anymore. But it sure is fun to imagine what it would have been like to see one swimming around and breathing fire, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, in the chapter before, he's talking about another one of his great creatures, and he points out that he is bigger and stronger than even his biggest and strongest and scariest creatures. And what's better? He loves us. Next, we get to think about summertime. Where we live, it's been a chilly spring. But as God promised Noah, summer is coming and lots of kids get to go to camp. I've found a handful of places around the United States where you can do more than just have fun. You can learn about God, our Creator, and science as well. Let's look at a couple of them. I was on Facebook today and saw that Ken Ham, who started Answers in Genesis, was talking about a camp nearby for them. And what's cool is this is called Camp Infinity. What's cool about this is it is a STEM camp, which means they do things with science, technology, engineering, and math. And there are lots of these camps around the country, but this one also teaches you about God and about creation. If you go to their website, you see that they have physics, including zip lines. They talk about geocaching and math and encryption. You can even build a
Robot.
They get to go to a state park to look for fossils. And on the last day, they go to the Creation Museum. That looks like so much fun. There are other ones around the country. There's one in Georgia that's having Buddy Davis, who makes music with Answers in Genesis. There are places out west. There's an Alpha Omega Institute out in Colorado that does teen camps, family camps, and creation vacations, which sound really neat. So there's Family Mountain Adventure. There's a Rock and River Adventure Creation Action Boot Camp, which is for teens and adults. They're going to Yellowstone. It's very exciting stuff. There's a couple others that are interesting. In Akron, Ohio, they have one of the best places I've seen for children called the Akron Fossils and Science Center, where they regularly do hands-on experiment times with kids. They've got all kinds of interesting animals. They do school groups, Sunday school groups, and even have a zip line. Let's see, down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, there's the Creation Studies Institute, has a especially for kids camp. And there are several others around the United States that you could check out. It's exciting to think that the fun time that you get on your summer vacation could also help you to learn more about Jesus and the Bible and how much we can trust Him. Does a camp like this sound great? Stop by the show notes to see the list I've collected. CreationScience4Kids.com/camps to see them and a cool picture of a mosasaur skeleton. Now, it's time to hear from you. What do you have for us today, Charity?
Tigers.
Oh, that sounds exciting.
Tigers are the biggest members in the cat family. They weigh up to 660 pounds, which is 300 kilograms. They eat up to 80 pounds of meat a serving. Their families consist of a tigress and 2 cubs. Otherwise, they live alone. They live all across Southeast Asia, from India to Siberia, north of China. Their stripes help them stay camouflaged in the grass. They are the only kinds of cats that like to swim in water. They can live in captivity 30 to 32 years. People used to hunt and trap tigers for money and to protect their families from being killed. Today we're working to help save the tigers we have left, while still making it safe for those living near the tigers' homes. There are 6 kinds of tigers left in the world. Here are their names: the Siberian tiger, the Bengal tiger, the Indo-Chinese tiger, Malayan tiger, the South China tiger, and the Sumatran tiger. In the 1800s, there were 9 kinds, but in the 1900s, 3 went extinct. Their names were the Bali tiger, the Caspian tiger, and the Javan tiger. There are different colors than just the regular orange tigers. There are the white tiger and the golden tigers. All tigers face extinction. The South China tiger is only about 30 left in the wild, and the Chinese are setting up nature reserves for their tigers. The Chinese are raising their South China tigers in captivity, then taking them to South Africa to let them learn how to hunt. People are donating money to help tigers become free in the wild and survive so that they do not all become extinct. Many people used to hunt tigers, skin them to sell because they were very soft and they made excellent rugs or blankets.
Thank you, Charity. Did you know the first commandment God gave people was to be careful with the animals in the natural world? We know everything alive was created by God and shows how smart and powerful He is. Some of His creatures are rather scary, but it is still our responsibility to find a way to be good neighbors if we can. Now, here's a joke for you. On which side does a tiger have the most stripes?
I don't know.
On the outside.
Oh!
Hey, did you know you can help keep this show going and learn more about creation at the same time? I've partnered with Creation Ministries International and Answers in Genesis to offer you some of the best resources for kids available. You can learn how a volcano has helped us understand Noah's flood better with 14-year-old Noah Justice in his family's awesome science DVDs, and lots more. Thanks! Do you like science? Got a subject you want to learn about? Or maybe you like telling stories? If you send me a report, story, joke, or interesting idea, I might use it in a future show. Head over to CreationScience4Kids.com/podcast to contact me. Well, this finishes up our show for today. Until next time, have fun treasuring our amazing universe and Creator. Thou art worthy, O Lord, to receive glory and honor and power, for Thou hast created all things, and for Thy pleasure they are and were created. Revelation 4:11.